And I'm glad everybody's here. I know I talked to some of you during the day, especially Joanne. Joanne and I stay very closely hooked up to where we move together because we're trying to learn this new stuff as fast as you guys are. But it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see what's going on. I could say I've been in Take Shape for over 6 years, and I have not ever seen this much excitement and really giving us the tools to grow our business if we so choose to. So I want to welcome everybody. And my goal, Susan and I's goal, is we hope we move you one step closer to your goals, that we inspire you, we encourage you, we move you to a place where you can make a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I know you've heard Dr. A say many times, if it was just left up to me and Sue, or me, Sue and Joanne and Robert, we could get some people healthy, but we wouldn't put a scratch in what's in the United States. And so we need everybody. And of course, with this new incentive trip that's coming in San Diego up real soon, it's all designed to really go out and get coaches where we can really start making a difference in the world, in the United States, as far as getting people healthy. Before I get started, I do want to, if anyone has any questions, because the way to move forward, if you're hung up on something, I do want to address that. We are going to keep this to 30 minutes. We believe that we have so much going on with our one-on-ones with you guys, with other Zooms that we go to, and other meetings, a leadership call, all these things that, we don't want to spend all our time in meetings. We want to be out there with action. So does anyone have any questions or anything? Just come off of mute. Don't be shy. We're family, so all questions are welcome. So anybody?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Okay.
In the Zoom, it was mentioned, I believe, by Doug that we were to take a picture of our work for this week and put it on Facebook. But does that not mean put it on your private Facebook page, your coach or your client, not on the regular Facebook? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
What did Doug ask for?
Okay, to take a picture of your work this week and then put it on Facebook.
Oh, I know what you mean as far as how many people you talk to.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. I saw that, but I did not read it, so I wouldn't be the best. We are, one of the main topics tonight is going to be accountability. And so on that, I would just say if you're in the boot camp, I would go to the boot camp page, read it very carefully, and put it on there. But I just don't know the answer, Joanne. So
yeah, I kind of doubt if it would be on the regular.
Yeah, I think I definitely it'd be on the boot camp page, because on the regular page, can you imagine 1,000 people putting their oh my gosh, the streams would go crazy. So
that'd be terrible. Okay, I'll be quiet. Thank you.
No, don't be quiet. Thank you, Joanne. Anyone else?
Hi, Jack and Sue. This is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, got a question. How old does a health coach have to be? I have a couple of young kids who right around 19 to 20.
18 years old.
Okay.
You have to be 18.
Okay.
And, in my old mind, I would have said, oh, gosh, that's way too young. But I've seen some of these young guys and gals come in. I remember Brad Nash, I think they were 19 and 20 or 21. So they were young. And they just come in and they grasp what this does for people's lives. And, well, you see where they're at today. So, yeah, 18, you have to be 18 years of age. So.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay with that, because we're limited on time, and I'll try to stop early enough before the 30 minutes is up that you can ask more questions. You can write them down as we go, or as I pause and you want clarification on something, please do so. Now, the reason we got somebody that's not on mute. There we go. So one of the things that I've had to learn from my own personal life is that it's kind of like when I get homework at school or whatever, I just say, why wait till tomorrow? I just go home and read the whole thing. I've carried that habit over into coaching people. And so when they put out these modules, my first thought was, well, I'll just put an evening down and I'll go through those things and I'll whip through them. And I did do that. And as I really started thinking about what is the purpose of the modules, what are the purpose of the training, if everyone's know what I'm talking about when you go in your Office in Motion, and there they got the new training modules. And they're wonderful because I will say this, if you will go in there yourself and learn those, I mean, really, really learn them, you will know how to, it's really for you to design what you feel comfortable with, your personality, your character. But you will be able to take a brand new coach, and by the time they get through all those modules, that they'll be well on their way to be a very, very successful coach. And in that, so going in and knocking all the modules out in 1 or 2 days is good that you know what's there. But I went back and now I've done the first module over a few times because in my mind I'm thinking, when I take a new coach through that and I want, what am I going to be? And I came up with the word accountable. How many remember clients when you first got them on, you got them going the night before, they touch base with them every day, and you really trying to make sure they didn't, do something real wrong that makes them discouraged and get off the program. You get them into fat burn and everything. But then comes the weekly calls. You remember those weekly calls, Sue?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have them all the time. And how many of you ever called one of your clients and said, hey, celebration day, I'm just calling to check on you, see how things are going. How are things? Fine. Well, what do you mean by fine? Oh, everything's just good.
You almost need a list of new questions to ask,
And so then you got to delve in, because what you want to do is, because a lot of times when they're saying fine, they messed up, they did something wrong. And so it's our job as a coach to dig in there and not just assume, hey, did you have a great week? Oh man, my week was wonderful. Really?
Tell me about it.
Or if you take it on the surface, their wonderful week was I only fell down 3 times in
on
the last
weekend.
Yeah, on the weekend, and the other 4 days I was good. And so you got to dig into. So hold them accountable. What was your weight loss? How did you do your meals? Those kind of things let you know what they're doing.
And another thing, if someone's struggling and they can't get out of the rut, it's like, how can I help you? So one client, she said she can't resist chocolate at night at around 7 when she's watching TV. And I said, what's it doing in your house? Anyway, it was on sale. She bought 10 dark chocolate bars. So she said, will you text me every night at 7 and just encourage me?
So what we're trying to say is, this person want to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. Well, we have to do that with our coaches as we move forward now, as all of us are growing our businesses bigger. We have to hold these coaches accountable. But who has to be accountable first in this pyramid that we're building here? Us. So the first thing, because we want to set an example, is I have to be accountable to my mentor, and I can tell you the way the system is set up, usually your mentors are trying to build a business. They're very, very busy. And so the relationship is from me to them, and then they reciprocate back. And so, but I want to be held accountable. Now, I could tell you that in the past, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and thought I was doing everything right. And then when I finally did get with my mentor and they start teaching us some things, I go, oh, wait a minute. So that close relationship, and I'm talking about a weekly relationship with them. So you have to be accountable to your mentor. And then, of course, you want accountability from your coaches.
I like what Terry said today on the global call. She said, if you run about a couple senior coaches and 6,000 in volume and you're not keeping notes on each client
or each coach,
mm-hmm. you're going to be all scrambled. And so keeping notes, again.
Well, she said a certain size, you can probably get away with not taking notes.
Yeah.
But once you get up to a certain amount of clients, a certain amount of coaches, mm-hmm. and that's what the new tracker, the what I call the health coach tracker. In other words, you get to that part where you're tracking what they finished. Now, what we have to do, if you're really interested, I just want to see how many are really interested and going to a new level in their business. Raise So that's why we're here. I knew I'd get everyone's hands raised. You know why? Because why would you be here if you weren't? There's other things to do besides listen to Jack and Sue talk on the Zoom call. So we want to do it. Well, I can guarantee you this, and I mean this. I've taken the time. I've studied. I get up early in the morning, and I look at this.
Trust me, very early.
If you will take the time to learn the stuff yourself, at least learn it one step ahead of the person you're walking through it, And so, so if you'll do this and let your people know. Now, do you make them be accountable? No, you just suggest that they're accountable, but the accountability will tell you the ones you need to work with. I think at all, we love everybody that comes into the business, but we find those that need that, and I'm guilty. I know Joanne, we've talked about this. Some people that we reach out, and it's like, okay, well, we got to watch it and make sure we balance our time. Those people that are, so if you want to grow your business, I got a tip, bug your mentor. And I really mean that. So.
Yeah, and also that, our pitch or whatever you want to call it, our offering. Maybe we're not projecting that right to make it attractive enough. Maybe we need some help with that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So what the mentoring part comes in there is if don't let your current circumstances, wherever you're at, dictate to what you think's going on. Believe me, you're probably the worst critic of your business than anybody in Take Shape. You probably are harder on yourself than any of your mentors or any of your coaches would be. But what we said is this thing can walk through. Now, I wrote down a phrase that I wrote down 3 of them that I wanted to bring up tonight. Now, does anyone have any questions at this point before I bring my dazzling phrases in here? Okay, good. All right. The first phrase, don't get caught up in learning. The biggest mistake I think we can make is with these modules is because I'm telling you, myself, I would rather you say, Jack, go do these modules than Jack, pick up the phone. Jack, go do this kind of work over here, learn this thing. I would rather do that than activity. What I'm saying is don't get caught up in learning all this stuff, because what you want that new coach or that person to becoming a new coach, you just want them to do the next step, which is activity. The first step is activity.
And it is layering. I think at convention, I walked away with that we love people. We listen to them where they're at. We're patient. I don't know if I told them or it was on a call. We had a couple 5 years ago at Dominican Republic. Just listen. They were there for a work trip they wanted or something, and they were just meeting a lot of Take Shape people and saw our fun parties. 5 years later, they called and said, we both want to go on the program. Yes. So it is layering and listening and creating relationships, right? So
what I'm really trying to say is go in there, learn your flow, learn the stuff, but at the same time, if it's taken away from your activity, get back to activity, because that's what's important. We talked about accountability, just like some of the clients don't want to be accountable. Some of the coaches don't. I think that's very, very important as we move forward. Is really and really tell our new coaches how important, or our existing coaches, how important it is to be accountable. That you're there to help them grow. And with our checkoff sheet, we know exactly where everybody's at. Okay. How many have ever, or maybe you still have a little bit of fear? I heard this great quote today. Anybody?
I do.
Go ahead.
I do. I still have fear.
Sure.
Oh, still have fear. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Anybody else? No one's going to admit to having fear but us.
Yeah.
There we are.
It's
it.
Okay. And so I'm going to talk about me again, because it's easier to talk about me because I probably make all the mistakes 10 times. I need somebody to mute if they're not muted, please. Check this.
That was me. I had to get off my phone and onto my iPad. Sorry.
All right. Thank you.
Fear.
Fear. The way I would counteract fear is I'd get busy doing busy work. You know, making my list of what I'm going to do, trying to do the things that and so I would just stay busy. Okay. And so, I'm sorry, there we go. But this is the quote I wanted you to hear. I want to put the quote out, okay? The best way to deal with fear is failure. The best way to deal with fear is failure.
Explain.
And I'll use an example. We started I'll use an example. The best way to deal with fear is failure. I don't know if it's so fearful as I just didn't feel comfortable. Well, it was fear with three-way calls back a couple of years ago when three-way calls, they've been around since I've been in the business, but they really took hold and stuff. And now it's the cornerstone of your business. Mm-hmm. I can say when you bring in a new coach, the biggest thing you do when you get them making that list, don't get them into the modules. And everybody's different. You guys have got to be the judge of your own business. But they come in as a new coach. You start that you get in their list because you say, hey, can you think of 10 or 15 people to put on the list? Because we used to say a hundreds list and they'd be working days on their hundreds list. Now we say take 10, 15, mm-hmm. and then pick 5 or 6 of them that you can talk to right now. And they go, okay, Joe, Alice, Betty. Okay, let's call them right now. And that's what we need to do. We need to get them some success. We need to model to them the three-way calls. And so if you're not doing that, if you don't feel comfortable, again, get with your mentor and make sure to do that, because once you've done them, and I'm the great example, once you've done them, they're not scary at all anymore. They're really, because we're just meeting the people. We're just talking to the people.
And like they said on the call today, you want your new coach to feel great and confident. And so getting them their 5 clients and their CAB bonus is the goal. Mm-hmm. It's getting them to senior coach. That's the emphasis, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to stop again, and we're going to field questions or somebody make comments. I can't be the only one on this call that dealt with fear of talking to people and stuff like that. There's got to be more than just me.
Okay. Diana, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm always still fearful.
Yeah.
So I do need to do more three-way calls with you. Yeah. So. And
that's the key. That is absolutely the key to overcoming this thing. And gosh, I wish people could. Even now, when people ask me to do a three-way, I get this little butterfly in my stomach that I just go on.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, I go on, and the people. You know what? Everybody I talk to is nice. I don't talk to anybody that's mean.
I know, and people don't hate you after. I mean, but that's like, I think what we fear. It's like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me? They're going to think I'm a weirdo, or I don't know. I'm not going to be a friend anymore. Yeah. So that's where my real fear comes from. But I know I've done some with you, but yeah, my friends are still my friends.
How many should you do? How many should each of us do?
That was on the first module. Let me try to remember. A lot. No, 10, 5.
As many as it takes you to get past that.
There you go.
When you get to the point where you can do three ways with your coaches or your clients, then you've got this thing licked. And I'll tell you, getting past that point to where you don't have that, you might still have a little butterfly, but you get past that point to where you just feel very easy, because this is the thing. We don't care about the outcome. Now, I know we're building a business and we're trying to get to that next level. We're trying to do this. But if you really can think about it, you're trying to tell enough people, because you know there's something in the trilogy that everybody needs. And so when we're out there talking to people, it's going to be a matter of finding out what they need of the trilogy.
And back to, we're not selling.
Yeah.
We're not selling. And it's our passion for that person to be financially free or whatever, have to outweigh the fear. And we do it anyway. I heard a quote once: experience fear, but do it anyway.
Anybody else? Diane, go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
You're real faint, Diane.
Real faint? Okay. Well, just a couple things. I remember listening to Dr. Garcia when she is having accountability with her clients when she's signing up a new client, and I've kind of implemented this too, and I think it really sets the new client at ease. And that is as you're sharing the program and what what it's going to look like in your relationship with them and so forth. And she says, and I say this too, the only thing that I expect from you is complete transparency and honesty. And then she says, I've been trained to coach, and if I don't know you're having a problem, then how can I coach you? And I only have your best interest at heart.
I
So
like that.
I remember that every time. And then the other thing about the fear thing, when the fear, the ugly head of fear likes to stick its head up and cause us to think weird thoughts, it is just false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
So it's usually just our mind just playing games on us.
Right.
Here again, you've got to take your eyes off of yourself
Yeah.
and keep your eyes on the mission.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, permission. I love what you just said. If I don't know you're having a problem, how can I coach you effectively?
Yeah.
That's a
Don't-
great question to ask your clients when they try and dodge you or they're not real honest. I love that.
I say,
You're breaking up, Diana.
don't run from me. Sending back to me
Yeah.
via email or phone calls. Don't run from me, but run to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a hard lesson to teach clients, but we need to do that. Okay, we're down to like 7 minutes. So another thing that just popped. Does somebody else have something on that they want to address on fear before anybody? I'll give you a couple seconds. Okay. The other thing is because I come from the old school when we used to 6,000 volume was the way to go. We didn't have the preferred path, the blended path. We were just, and in that, a lot of times because we were trying to get that volume, we kind of, when we had a prospective client or somebody interested in the program, we pretty much stayed to the program. Every once in a while, if we thought, oh, this person's really, really a go-getter, we might mention a little bit about the business, that there is a business side of this. How many now, when they do their presentations, are doing the full trilogy? And I don't ask for hands, and I'm not asking for comments, but if you're at the mind where you're so interested in the person as a client and you don't introduce the full trilogy to them, it's only hurting them and you. You because your business isn't growing as big, and them because you don't want to be somebody that 2 years later you're talking to your client and you mention the business side. They go, what do you mean the business side? And you present it to them and find out, gosh, I wish you had told me this 2 years ago. I would have jumped in with both feet. And so it's not about it. So all the reason we're telling them about the trilogy is we want to know we offer the healthy body, we offer the healthy mind, and we offer the healthy finance. We don't know where you're at, if you need one or all, but we want to at least let you know that, okay?
Yeah, full offering.
Okay. We're at 6:25 now. Any questions? Any statements? Joanne, do you have something to say there, girl?
Is she on?
Well, I think, when fear gets in our way, we need to kick it away because you just have to work through it. You have to walk through it. And when you do it, you're surprised at the results and you think, hey, this isn't so bad after all. So then you have more courage for the next one. And pretty soon you're just ready to go.
Yeah.
Or I feel like that.
Or they need to hang out with Robert for a day.
Yeah, he has no fear.
No fear at all. So
We were at our marketing meeting yesterday, which we're loving. And this gal, which we're meeting with tomorrow, she's Mary Kay, been in it 20 or 30 years, I don't know.
30 years.
But she reminded me that we have to do self-talk. Like she said, when I get a no, I have to walk away and make a choice. Am I going to let this defeat me? Or is this going to make me stronger?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of self-talk in our business.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to have thick
Because
skin.
one, we got to make sure that the negative talk's not coming from us,
Yeah.
And so anybody else want to make a statement? We got about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. Coming into next week's meeting, if there's a certain form, I hope you're all using this thing, the Transform one. I forgot to pull it up. I was going to put it up on the screen. Transforming Your Health is a great, for lack of a better thing, it's a great icebreaker. It really is. I use this all the time now. Just say, well, where are you at? This is the three things we have the trilogy and Take Shape of Your Life. How do you rate on all this? Or, you know,
We met with a realtor, and she's like, wow, I'm really bad on the healthy body, but I think my mind's okay, but man, my body's bad. Well, we knew she needed to lose about 80 pounds, but we weren't going to tell her that. So
yeah, it's
really
real
cool.
eye opener for her and
Yeah.
stuff. So, but anyway, if you have a particular form or a particular thing on the module you want to cover, do it. Perfect your craft. That is really the key. Am I perfected in this stuff? Is Joanne and Robert, Sue and I? No. We have to go in, and that's why I get up early in the morning. I spend a little time. I think about a new coach, and every coach is going to be a little different. So, you know, I want to say activities, the main thrust I put them into. I don't even worry about the modules. I want them to make a list of 10 people.
And go
Let's
for it.
get on the phone. Let's get activity. But then that person, I will take them through the modules. With our checkoff system, I don't move from step 1 to step 2 until I know they not only did the module. See, anyone can do the module, but do they understand it? Did they really get out what they wanted to do? So, okay.
Before we close, the sun rises around 5:15 in the morning, and I would venture to say that he is up within that 30-minute
Well, I have to. I
period.
got to get him. I got to get him to talk to Joanne.
That's right. You're an early person too, aren't you? Because I've gotten texts from you really early.
Anyway, this is the last thought for the
I
day.
never sleep.
Yeah. Well, we can
Well, your
do-
mind never
we-
sleeps, probably.
Well, I was gonna say we can do that when we get to heaven, but I don't have to sleep in heaven. Anyway, that's all right. Okay, here's your closing thought. Okay, this is for your homework for the week. Spend all your time and energy on creating something that brings you value, or brings value, not necessarily you. Spend all your time and energy on creating something that brings value, and I would say brings value to someone else, because if you help someone else, it'll be twice as valuable to you. So
And remember, convention, I believe in you.
yes,
I believe in you. Text that to your clients and coaches. I believe in you,
yes.
right?
Okay, guys. Well, I'm excited. One of my bestest friends is coming over tonight from Pittsburgh. He's driving from the airport now, and it'll be exciting to spend some time with him. But we love you guys. Again, you can call us, email us. We are a team. I know Joanne's a team. We're a team. We're here for each other. Whatever it takes, we'll work together, and we'll get America healthy. Okay.
Right.